The downsides to being pretty. There are downsides. Number 1, girls will hate you for literally no reason. Number 2, everyone thinks you're like a mean girl or something. Number 3, those creepy guys, they love to stare.
Welcome, brothers. In today's video, we will talk about the competition among women. We will demonstrate how a woman's worst enemy is another woman, from the privileges of the pretty girl to the things they tend to accuse each other of. But before we continue, brothers, we invite you to subscribe, like the video. We want to reach 50,000 subscribers, so we ask for a small contribution so the family keeps growing. We leave you our super chat if you want to donate to the channel. Don't forget to leave us your comments. Without further introduction, let's begin.
I don't know if any other girls had this experience growing up, but I always had people say things like to my parents or around me of like, oh, I bet she's got like the boys lining up to talk to her, or like some variation of that. I heard that all the time growing up, and I honestly was never sure if people were kind of like low-key making fun of me, because that could not have been further from the case. I think comments like that really messed me up kind of growing up, because even my sister would say things to me like, oh, you're so lucky, like you get all the boys, like all the boys like you. And I'm like, where are these boys? Who likes me? I've genuinely, I'm 30 and I've probably been asked out on less than 10 dates in my entire life. I never get approached by guys in public. The few times I felt like I was about to get trafficked, not like asked out on a date. I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys' experiences with this, because I was like waiting. I was waiting for the day that the boys were going to be lined up to take me on a date. The day never came.
Brothers, pretty women often claim they don't receive much male attention because they're attractive, but I believe the opposite is true. If you check their social media, especially Instagram, you'll see a lot of attention from simps. The problem for them is that it's not the desired attention. They want the Chad, a man with privileged genetics who doesn't contribute anything more than his seed, or the high-value man, a man who has built himself up to access that top 20% of men. Nowadays, it's well known that men are afraid to approach women naturally, and the problem is who has caused this. The number of aggressive feminists who want to shame you for everything has made men reluctant to approach women. In cases of such bad luck for the man, a police order could be issued, so men don't want to seek trouble and just avoid them. But I don't believe that she hasn't been able to get more than 10 dates. I can believe that men might not approach her because they feel intimidated by how she looks, but with just 2 photos on a dating app, she has thousands of men looking for a date with her. So, brother, everything is as she paints it. She only says this to seek attention.
As a conventionally attractive woman, these are some of the things that I experience on a daily basis. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's the hardest problem in the world to go through, but people make a lot of assumptions about pretty girls. First thing people assume about pretty girls is that they have everything handed to them. Yes, pretty privilege is a thing, but most pretty girls that I know have a full-time job and a part-time job and a side hustle. Some pretty girls are using their pretty privilege so they don't have to work, but the majority of pretty girls are still employed. Second thing they assume is that everybody automatically loves you and you have so many friends, when the opposite is actually true. Pretty girls actually receive the most jealousy and the most haters, and that makes it really difficult to make real, true, authentic, secure, confident female friends. As a result, most pretty girls are actually loners, or they have more male friends than female friends, because female friends tend to get very jealous and they start copying them and being haters behind their back, and so on and so forth. Third thing they assume is that you have a roster. Do pretty girls get hit on all the time? Yes. But because they get hit on all the time, they have learned to differentiate between which men are full of shit and which men are not. And most of them are full of shit. So as a result, most pretty girls don't have a roster. And they're actually not even talking to anybody, because most men only want pretty girls because they're pretty girls. And for that reason, most pretty girls can only handle one man at a time. The fourth thing they assume about pretty girls is that you're one-dimensional, meaning just because you're a pretty girl means you're just a pretty girl. You can't be a pretty smart girl. You can't be a pretty talented girl. You can't be a pretty hardworking girl, because you're a pretty girl. So you have to just be a pretty girl. It's not true. Pretty girls are dynamic individuals just like everybody else. And if you're gonna reduce them to their physical appearance, then don't be mad at them for using their physical appearance to gain certain things that they want. And the last and probably most common thing that people assume about pretty girls is that they have really high self-confidence. But the reality is, most pretty girls are insecure or have insecurities just like everybody else, because they're so aware of the fact that every time they leave their house, they have eyes on them. So they're so much more conscious of their appearance. And because of that, it causes them to criticize themselves even more. So pretty girls are not automatically confident, don't automatically have everything handed to them, don't automatically have all the friends in the world, don't automatically have all the options in the world either, and are regular people. Stop making assumptions about pretty girls. Just treat them normally.
Women, just like men, engage in competition, but the competition among men is nothing compared to that among women, because believe me, it's fierce. Women compete in beauty, in who has the best man, in who has the best body, who has the best lifestyle. Why do you think Instagram can boost a woman's morale, as well as make her depressed? It's because women live in brutal comparison with each other. They're always competing. That's why when one friend looks better than the other, the less attractive one will always try to minimize the pretty one because of jealousy. She'll always think, you have all this just because you're pretty. I've repeated it several times here. A woman's worst enemy is another woman. It's true, much of what they say. Many beautiful women either have all their personality in their looks or tend to be very insecure or depressed because they believe that the prettiest ones are the craziest. It's because many of them don't have real friends or because they're always criticized when they don't behave perfectly as people expect because of their beauty. But I want you to notice when she said, many men flirt with you. Yes, but that's why you have to differentiate between the Chad or the high-value man. But as always, they go for the Chad because the Chad stands out from many high-value men who are intimidated by their beauty. The Chad doesn't care. He'll make his move however he wants. He has nothing to lose. So, brothers, if a beautiful woman is accepting your invitation, have confidence in yourself. Remember, confidence in a man is what makes him more attractive. If she's already agreed to go out with you, the rest depends on you. Saying to a woman, "You're too beautiful to go out with someone like me," is something a simp would say. Why not think that you're a man who brings a lot to the table? Beautiful women choose you because you're a high-value man. Remember, confidence and uncertainty are always your best allies.
A girl is fucking tough. If you don't have an ass, you'll get made fun of because you're flat. But if you have one, don't show it off because then you're an asshole. If you don't have boobs, people will make fun of you. If you have boobs, don't bring attention to them because then you're a slut. If you're too short, wear heels. If you're taller than guys, it's awkward. If you're skinny, you're anorexic and you need to eat. If you're fat, you're obese and need to go on a diet. Because no one likes fat girls. If you never had a boyfriend, you're a lesbian. But if you've had more than one, you're a thought. If you have periods, it's gross. But if you haven't, you're not mature. If you lose your virginity, you're a whore. But if you haven't, you're scared. If you don't send nudes, you get blocked. But if you do, you get exposed and labeled for it. And guys wonder why girls are so insecure. Open your fucking eyes.
Now, where do these criticisms come from? Because men don't live concerned about these things, unless they're a feminized man. A high-value man doesn't go around talking about women because he knows that undermines you as a man. But most of these prejudices were established by other women, because they're the ones who criticize the most. If you want to see an example, you just have to go to an all-female workplace. They're the most toxic environments. Women tear each other apart, from the colleague who didn't dress up to the one who talks to the boss, from one who invents a rumor in the office. Men who have worked in places with more women can confirm this. It's like I said, women have fierce competition among themselves. Why do you think the concept of the popular girl stuck in school? Or why are there so many teen series where the mean girl is looking for her victims? Or why did the movie Mean Girls sell so much in theaters and become popular among teenagers? Brothers, you don't want to live through the bullying among women because they're just as bad, if not worse, than men. It gets worse as they get older. For example, when they hit the wall, they have to compete to find a beta provider or a high-value man.
You need to be extremely careful of women who are pretending to be your friends. These type of people will sneak into your life solely for the purpose of putting you down. But they will come in the shape of a friend. They will come in the shape of a nice girl. But it's all a lie. Secretly, they want to see you fail. I know many of you have experienced this because I get comments like this daily. But I recently got a DM and I just felt the urge to make this video because I feel like there are way more women struggling with this than we know. And it's not often talked about. When you have a pretty girl energy, when you know your worth, when you're walking around with your head held up high, there are a lot of people that don't want to see you have that. There are a lot of people that want you to feel insecure and want you to be put down, but they'll fake a smile and fake a friendship just to achieve their goal. Honestly, learning how to spot this out takes a lot of discernment, and you have to be able to learn to see through people, which comes with practice, or it's a natural born gift. But nevertheless, like everything, there's always signs. Let me know if you guys want me to make a video on that. I love you guys. Stay pretty.
The worst enemy of a woman is another woman. What he says is true, brothers. I don't know if any of you have had a partner who has a friend who always belittles her or makes fun of her, sometimes in a joking way, but you can tell they want to bring her down. But you, being a good boyfriend or husband, tell your wife, your friend is just fake with you, and your wife just says, she's just joking. Or sometimes you realize in a relationship with this woman how her family members are, like her mother, sisters, cousins, and aunts. You see that they all get along badly, or there's this competition among them, or they're the ones constantly giving toxic advice to your woman, which leads to problems in your relationship. It's very common in women's lives to have another woman who pretends to be a friend but actually envies her for what she has achieved or for her beauty. And the most common scenario is when your woman, usually married by 30, realizes that her friends are still single, living criticizing your relationship, trying to hang out with your woman, or wanting to go on girls' trips. You know her friends are bad influences, you tell her, but she doesn't believe you until you leave her. You realize the first woman who messages you is her so-called friend, if not blatantly flirting with you during the relationship. Brothers, women live in competition. That's why being a man focused on his path in life is attractive both to the woman you choose and those around her. I bet they'll want a man of your caliber.
The best part about getting older is not giving a damn what people think. One of the liberating aspects about getting older is the decreased concern about people's opinions. Personally, and especially in the last 2 years, I've just learned to embrace my imperfections and accept my individuality. I don't feel the need to meet societal expectations or arbitrary standards set by others. Now look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't paid attention to what somebody has said about me before in the past. But I've learned that investing time and energy into trying to understand people's opinions about you will end up being pretty unproductive and hindering your growth. Look, as you get older, you're going to end up facing various challenges that are going to change your perspective on life. And this accumulated wisdom that only comes with age will often enable you to navigate life's ups and downs with a greater sense of resilience and a more balanced perspective. Consequently, you're going to learn to shrug off the judgments and opinions of others because you're going to learn that your experiences ultimately hold more weight. Now, not caring about what other people think can be liberating, but it's also important to strike a balance. Just remember this, okay? Those who are genuinely content and successful with their lives tend to focus less on criticizing others and talking about them. Nobody who is doing better than you will be talking about you. This is just something you learn with age. Take it from me.
Brothers, as women age, they become more aware of their age. This is very important for women because they know they are nearing the end of their beauty. They know that their beauty is what makes them competitive in the sexual marketplace, and without it, it will be harder to attract the best men. Why do you think women invest thousands of dollars in expensive skin or body treatments, from Botox to surgical operations like breast lifts? Women know that the competition among women is fierce. In countries like Russia or Eastern Europe, what women fear most is not losing their beauty but not being attractive once they reach 35 years old, as their husband might leave them for a younger woman. I'm talking about a country where women are very beautiful and very traditional, knowing how to take care of their man. This is what women fear. That's why you see them advising young girls not to waste their youth on older men, so they don't close the doors to finding their beta provider or so they don't steal someone else's husband. They know that by 30, they've hit the wall, that their best years are behind them. Those who couldn't use their beauty to secure a husband look with suspicion at those who are rising up and might do what they couldn't do in time. That's why there's envy, because they know the wall doesn't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about pretty women and their issues? Have you ever met a beautiful woman who has had problems because of her beauty? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.